Hi, good evening. Today is June 9th, 2019. My name is Olawale Okabola with Spartacus Trading Corporation, where serious advanced traders come to train. Showing a setup on a new technique I'm practicing overnight gaps, fading overnight gaps. Of course, it has to be a legitimate reason. Um, a little background history: the market has been rallying up from a rallying higher from short covering rallies because the market was short. I talked about that from this area. I talked about it in previous reports. So now we closed a little bit. We closed in the lower part of the value area from yesterday, from Friday, even though value was clearly higher. Value was clearly higher. We closed in the lower portion, and I had this tagged as firecrackers because these highs were pretty close together. So the firecrackers, you're familiar with profile theory, is one stop hits another, so it's pop, 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 pop. So that's probably what happened off the economic news that the U.S. and Mexico reached a tentative deal regarding immigration. Thank God. So that could have been a knee-jerk reaction in the overnight. So the overnight gapped. Usually, I like to wait for a full period in the overnight to close to see what happens. So I decided to fade this overnight gap. And the key to this trade for me is to wait for, ideally tomorrow, pre market or overnight, that we get back within the previous day's range. That is mandatory. We can get back in the previous day's range. Uh, and somehow make our way down. We have a prominent point of control, which is pretty good for me being short. So if the trade is working, hopefully it gets back in value, and then the prominent point of control, I believe is 11 wide, will start to do its thing. Ideally, I want to close this gap. Not too many times you see a successful gap in the overnight, meaning an overnight gap. You usually get a gap from the overnight that ends up being a gap from the day time frame when the pit opens, but you have either single prints from the overnight or you have some kind of structure from the overnight. When you have nothing from the overnight, it's probably a sign of something you want to fade. So this is a spec trade for me, and I want to fade it, and I will monitor. I have my exit to get out here. So far, the trade is working. Okay, so as I talked about, my desired goal is to get get in and around here. I bought a option that expires tomorrow, Monday. So I'm going to kind of sit back and see what this trade is going to do. I bought it at 850. The market's somewhere between 875 and 950. I usually go light size on a spec trade. It's just a spec. If it works out, great. I got some decent cushion to play with tomorrow in the pit session. So I will make a part two of this video to share the results of this trade. I'm not expecting it to work so fast, but if it does, great. But at some point, hopefully in the pre-market, I can take this trade off. Hopefully it works in my favor. That's it for now. Again, the purpose of this trade is to show how you play overnight gaps. Overnight gaps, meaning gaps in the overnight, not a gap for the pit session. So we'll see how it works out, and I will keep you abreast. This is Olawale Okabola with Spartacus Trading Corporation. Have a good day.